Hey, it's Matt Moscona. You found it, your home for all the latest news and conversation around your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. And this channel is powered by BetUS. Up to a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits, up to $2,000. It's all at BetUS. The link is in the description on this video. Who dat?
8 seconds left. Smith trying to give New Orleans the lead. 37-yard attempt. It's perfect.
It's a win. You know, there's a lot of things we got to clean up offensively, but I thought 2 2-minute drives, being able to go down and execute, really ended up kind of being the difference in the game. Also thought our offense, when we gave up a touchdown to start the second half, I thought our offense responded, going right back down the field and answering. So, I thought those were positives. I thought early on in the game, I thought we did some good things on defense. I thought early we were able to kind of get some pressure on the quarterback a little bit. And look, we minimized, the points allowed in the game. And yet I thought, later in the game, I feel like there were some things that we could have done better and executed a little bit better.
Saints beat the Cardinals 16-14 to win the preseason opener. Dennis Allen afterwards. Saints did practice on Sunday. Today, Monday, is an off day for the Hootats. They'll be back at it on Tuesday. They play the 49ers this week. We did learn that the Niners, because of injuries, have canceled the scheduled joint practices with the Saints this week. But we'll get to that game. We'll do a little bit of a retrospective first here on that first preseason game. Look, a win is a win, and there were some good things to take away. You're less concerned about the result as you are about the process and what you saw from the game and what we were looking for. Going into Saturday night, I think my biggest question, all of your biggest question, the thing that we've all talked about all offseason has been this offensive line. You're replacing 3 starters. Trevor Penning's moving to right tackle. You have a rookie in Taliese Fuanga playing at left tackle. Obviously, Nick Saldiveri was there at guard. He's injured. You're seeing Lucas Patrick there now. A new quarterback, a new system. All of that, right? All of that surrounds the engine that is your offensive line that kind of makes the thing go. And wasn't great. New Orleans averages 3.5 yards a carry. It was tough sledding much of the day offensively. And then when you look at Arizona defensively, what they were able to do, they came away with a sack, couple of TFLs, and 5 quarterback hits to go along with 6 passes defensed. It was a rough go offensively and rough for that line. On top of that, when you look at the team stats, you had a handful of your offensive linemen that were penalized in the game as well. Trevor Penning was called. Oli Udoh was called for a penalty. It was about what you might expect from a first preseason game with a lot of new players playing together for the first time. And all the Saints had 9 penalties. And I was asked over the weekend, hey, are you concerned about all the penalties? And flatly, the answer is no. I'm not concerned about the penalties one iota, because this is always the gauge that I use. So in 2014, this is a pull, but in 2014, the Saints played the Tennessee Titans in a preseason game where the Saints were penalized 22 times. Do y'all remember this? The Saints were penalized 22 times in a preseason game against the Titans back in 2014. That New Orleans Saints team had the second fewest penalties in the NFL that season. I think they were penalized like 78 times the entire season. So, no, I'm not worried about the penalties in preseason game number 1 from a lot of guys that aren't even going to make the team. A completely different level of intensity, games called differently from the officials. So, no, I'm not worried about the penalties. In total, I would like to see guys that you're going to count on play better, like Trevor Penning, which it was a rough go. He whiffed on a screen block. He got bull rushed right into the quarterback. He did have a penalty. Not a great outing for Trevor Penning. Now, the opposite, I would say, for Spencer Rattler. We were looking at the backup quarterbacks. That was maybe the second biggest thing, as we know Derek Carr is the guy, but as I think both as your number 2 this year and long-term, how does that battle play out? Jake Haener did have the deep completion to A.T. Perry. Perry had a great game as well, which we'll get to. But Rattler was the story because Rattler led you on scoring drives. The opening drive of the second half, Spencer Rattler led you right down the field and got you on the board for a touchdown. And then with a minute and a half to play in the ball game, after the Cardinals scored to take the lead, Spencer Rattler got the ball and led you right down the field, chewed up all the clock, and then with 5 seconds left, Charlie Smith hits the game-winning field goal. So I like that from Spencer Rattler. I'm not going to tell you that I'm drawing wide-ranging conclusions on the quarterback position based on a preseason game. I'm not drawing wide-ranging conclusions on anything. Mostly anything that I would take from a preseason game, though, would confirm or affirm a negative, not a positive. Meaning, I'm not telling you Rattler is going to be an all-pro because he won a preseason game. But if you go play in a preseason game against a bunch of dudes that aren't even going to be employed in a month and you struggle, that's a concern. That's what I mean by you can validate a negative but not an affirmative or a positive here in this situation in a preseason. Dennis Allen, after the game, was asked about Spencer Rattler's debut where led the game-winning drive.
I thought he executed with poise. I thought he made some plays. I thought he was able to create a little bit with his feet when things didn't go exactly how you wanted it to. So I thought he did a good job. I thought Haener did well. I thought he came in and executed his job. So, I was pleased with what we were able to get accomplished there with those two players. Now we're going to go back and we're going to look at the tape and we're going to make the corrections that we need to make. There's some things that we have to be better at. But I thought overall, for a first preseason game, and this being Spencer's first shot out, I thought I was pleased with what I saw.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
Of course, we were looking at Taliesin Fuanga, Kool-Aid McKinstry, the high draft picks for the Saints this year. Fuanga played a good bit in the first half. Kool-Aid started but didn't play a ton. I thought Taliesin Fuanga was fine. I didn't notice anything glaring. I don't know. Even the batted ball on the defender that he was blocking, the defender sort of dropped off in coverage and elevated and blocked the pass. I think that's more on Derek Carr than it is on Taliesin Fuanga. I could sit here and talk about Carr, but there's nothing to say. We all saw it. We know what he is. He is what he is. But Kool-Aid McKinstry, sometimes you could just look at a guy and say, okay, he's just at a different level. That was Kool-Aid McKinstry. We all saw it. Like, in a preseason game, whether you're going against starters or whatever, sometimes there's a guy on the field that just looks different, and that was Kool-Aid. And I'm always interested what coaches think after they watch the tape. Like, immediate post-game is one thing, but what happens after you get back, you watch the tape, you dive in, then what were your observations? Well, Dennis Allen met with reporters on Sunday after practice and talked about Kool-Aid.
I thought there were some plays, in particular in the first half. I thought there was an increased sense of urgency, tenacity, style of play. Couple of mistakes there to open up the third quarter. A couple of things he could have done better there, But I would say I saw signs of the type of player that I think we can have, and in particular early on in that game.
I think that's a very measured way of Dennis Allen trying not to get too excited, but understanding that that's a draft pick that they hit on. They very clearly hit with Kool-Aid McKinstry. Now, he's got to stay healthy and learn the defense and continue to grow and develop all this stuff. But very clearly that you saw the flashes there of what made him a high second-round pick and a guy that I think is going to hopefully play a long time for the New Orleans Saints and be the next great corner in this organization. And then I'd be remiss if we didn't mention A.T. Perry. 4 targets, 4 catches, 85 yards. He did also have the deep catch. He drew a PI. Yes, A.T. Perry looked fantastic. As we continue to look at this team with Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, we talked about it a ton, who is going to step up and be the next guy as part of this rotation. A.T. Perry took a big leap on Saturday in that game against Arizona to prove he wants to be that guy. Here was DA on A.T. Perry after the game.
There were some good things. I mean, obviously, the one explosive pass there, at the end of the first half that, set us up in scoring position. I mean, that was a huge play in the game. I'd probably have to go back and look at the whole thing. How did he block? How did he get aligned? How well was he getting open when the ball didn't go to him? Like, those are all the things that, I mean, it's easy to look and see when he hits somebody on a double move in the 2-minute, that's a big play. And that's obviously, important. So I think I gotta look at it, but that certainly was a big play.
Saints win preseason game number 1. Practice this week out in Irvine. They'll take on the Niners on Sunday night. They'll play a night game on Fox, a national game on Sunday, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, week 2 here of the preseason. And then they'll wrap up the preseason on the 25th at home against Tennessee. Thanks so much for watching the video. Remember, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. And our channel is powered by BetUS. 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits, up to $2,000. All the info and the link in the description below.